Hi, it's Gina Din-Kariuki and you're watching Shaping African Conversations. Today I just want to talk about the progress of PR on the continent. And if you look at 20 years ago when we started, trying to even explain to my mother what I did for a living was really hard. But in 20 years, the PR industry on the continent has definitely moved, and it's quite exciting. I mean, we're seeing, movement in the last maybe 4 or 5 years of international PR companies enlarging their footprint on the continent. And that's really a very good thing for clients because it gives them a bigger choice. What I think is even more interesting is that the international companies are seeing, that a solution that might work for a company based out of New York or London will not be the solution that will work in Africa. And so the collaboration between homegrown PR companies and international companies is happening so much more now. And it's something that we've grown organically ourselves, is that we are locally we're very locally experienced. So we know the continent very well. But we're also globally recognized. And I just came back from Barcelona, where I won two Stevie International Awards, which was really exciting. But it also just made me realize that, as a continent, we sometimes don't realize that we are globally competitive. And if you think that in Africa, out of the world's 10 fastest growing economies, 4 or 5 are actually in Africa. And so that means that the PR industry will definitely grow because, more investment on the continent means that multinationals that are coming into Africa will require the support of PR companies. The problem is that we sometimes also then look at PR in Africa as one. And as we know, Africa has got, different countries, different cultures, and the markets are, developed at different rates. So if you look at South Africa, it's really well developed. Kenya's, not too bad, and Nigeria's getting there. But, in some other countries in Africa, traditional newspapers are still the big thing. And sometimes you'll see 4 or 5 people huddled around a newspaper where they're actually renting newspapers. So, the way people communicate in different countries is really key. And I think that's something that, as a group, we've managed to learn and to realize that a solution for a client in Kenya might not be the solution for a client in Angola or in Nigeria. And so we're able to customize solutions for different cultures and different countries. PR is growing on the African continent, particularly as a result of the lower oil prices, and where countries are very dependent on oil, they're suddenly realizing that their economies need to be focused around other things. So they're having to create communications around that. And in the whole worldwide age of transparency and accountability, reputation of countries is also really important. So Africa really has such a great potential for PR and for PR companies because of the need. The needs of companies on the African continent are so much more than the needs of more developed countries because they've had processes going all along. To attract foreign investment onto the continent, we're going to have to tell our stories. We're going to have to ensure that our reputations are right. And so PR companies are really doing really well on the continent and ensuring that they're able to support multinationals, governments. And governments are starting to realize this, that they too have to create communications that will attract foreign investment to come in, that will ensure that tourism booms in their countries. So I think there's just such great potential for the PR industry in Africa. And one of the areas that has traditionally been a problem is the area of talent on the continent. We're very fortunate in Kenya to have universities that actually offer PR degrees. And so we're very lucky to be able to have amazing talent. I mean, just my own team, are from Kenyan universities, and they're absolutely awesome. And they're taught it's PR at a really high level. Other countries in Africa are not that lucky. So, a lot of it is about building skills in those countries to ensure that, that the people can service these multinational clients. A lot of what was happening in the past was that the international companies would bring in the skill. But I think, that's not an ideal solution, because while we want to have global standards, local knowledge is really, really important, and culture is important. And so somebody coming in internationally might not understand the nuances of that particular country. So I'm very excited for the future of the PR industry on the continent. I'm excited to be shaping African conversations, and I'm really excited for all the PR professionals that are now working in this space. And it's 20 years ago, I never really thought that PR would be an industry in itself in Africa. And it's so exciting to see the development of an industry and a profession that I love so very much. You've been watching Shaping African Conversations. If you liked it, please share it. Please engage with us. We're so privileged to have you spend your time watching the series with us. Thank you.